Welcome to the Czech Republic. In this video, I'll take you on a journey through some of the most incredible places I visited during my 5-day trip. Hopefully, this inspires you to explore this stunning country for yourself. This is actually my second time in Czechia, and it remains one of my favorite destinations in Europe. It's a country that blends history and nature so effortlessly, offering something unique no matter where you go. For this trip, I focused on the western half of the country, visiting the cities of Prague, Pilsen and Český Krumlov, with plenty of fascinating stops along the way. If that sounds like your kind of adventure, come join me and let's get started. For those unfamiliar, Czechia is a small Central European nation bordered by Germany, Poland, Austria and Slovakia. Once the heart of the Holy Roman Empire, the country is rich in history and easily accessible by plane, train, bus or car. As Czechia is part of the European Union, most passport holders will be able to enjoy visa-free access to the country. However, if you are from the following countries shown on screen, you will need to apply for a Schengen visa, costing around €90, although this visa will grant you access to all other European countries benefiting from the Schengen area. Although Czechia is part of the European Union, they still use their own currency, the Czech koruna. Most places accept credit or debit cards, so I never needed cash for anything during my trip. English is also widely spoken, which made navigating and communicating very easy. I started my journey in Prague, the capital city and the heart of Czechia. This city has been a cultural and political hub for centuries, with a history dating back to the 9th century. After finding a parking space near the Church of St. Salvatore, which is a Catholic church over 500 years old, we were outside the Old Town Tower Bridge. This is a striking 14th century tower with a wide arched gateway and Gothic architecture, leading to the iconic Charles Bridge, built by King Charles IV in the 14th century. This bridge is lined with 30 statues of varying figures and looks out into the Vltava River. From the Charles Bridge you can see the Prague Castle at the top of the city. This is the world's largest ancient castle dating back to the 9th century, making this castle 1,200 years old. The castle was once home to Bohemian kings and emperors, and it now houses the Czech president's official office. Entry into the grounds of the castle is free, where you'll see the St. Vitus Cathedral inside. This is a Gothic masterpiece which took almost 600 years to complete construction. The cathedral and some closed away areas such as the Old Royal Palace and St. George's Basilica cost 450 Czech krona to enter, but I decided not to due to time constraints. There are several beautiful parks around the castle, and a short 25-minute walk away you will soon see the stunning Petrin Gardens with an uninterrupted view of the entire city. Following the pathway down the hill back to the Charles Bridge and into the Old Town, you'll walk through multiple small alleys and experience ancient architecture from all buildings before reaching the Old Town Square. This is the oldest historic square in the Old Town of Prague, dating back 1,000 years and boasting many Gothic-inspired structures such as the 600-year-old Church of Our Lady Before Tyr and the astronomical clock on the facade of the City Hall, a marvel of medieval engineering that's been operating since 1410. And the town hall structure itself from 1338. If you want to go inside the City Hall chapel, staterooms, tunnels and clock, tickets cost 300 Czech krona or about £10. Leaving Prague, I headed southwest to visit Karlštejn Castle, a majestic fortress built in 1348 by Emperor Charles IV to safeguard the crown jewels and holy relics of the Holy Roman Empire. The castle is perched on a hill, offering breathtaking views of the countryside. The castle has two main sections, the outer area, which is free to explore, and the inner castle, including the Chapel of the Holy Cross, costing 200 Czech krona or £6.40 to enter. From Karlštejn Castle I continued to Pilsen, the birthplace of the Pilsner beer. The city surprised me with its mix of history and culture, differing significantly compared to Prague. Apart from St. Bartholomew's Cathedral, dating back to the 13th century, the rest of the city is modern in comparison, dating back around 200 years. There are several sights to see in Pilsen, such as the Great Synagogue, the historic underground tunnels, and the Pilsner beer factory. I didn't have any time to do these, but there's some ideas for you if you add Pilsen to your list. On day 3, I headed east to Hluboká Castle, also known as the State Chateau of Hluboká. This is a stunning neo-Gothic chateau inspired by England's Windsor Castle. Although having been to Windsor Castle myself, I can't really see the comparison. This place looks far better. The chateau was originally built in the 13th century, however it was later redesigned in the 19th century by the Schwarzenberg family. The castle gardens are free to explore, but entry into the interior costs 300 Czech koruna, or roughly £10. If you're driving here, there's no parking at the castle or the little town at the bottom of the hill. The nearest parking is opposite the local swimming pool, costing €2, and is roughly a 20-minute walk to the castle. You'll find this car park because there is a guy sitting inside the area which is just stone gravel, and he's collecting money into a bucket. There is no direct public transport connection between here and Pilsen, and you'd have to head back into Prague. But there are direct connections to the nearby city České Budějovice from Prague, taking just under 2 hours. Google couldn't tell me if there's public transport directly to the chateau from here, so I'd assume you must have to take a taxi. I was going to continue heading east, but I ate at a restaurant in Pilsen the night before, and the meal was so delicious I wanted to try and find a nearby restaurant that served the same type of traditional Czech food. I soon realized I ate at a chain restaurant called Sveki, and the nearest one was 30 minutes south in a place called Český Krumlov. Little did I know until I arrived that this city is a UNESCO heritage site bisected by the Vltava River and is dominated by the 13th century castle at the top, with a Gothic and Renaissance elements offering panoramic views of the entire old town. This is the same river that runs directly through Prague. Český Krumlov Castle is one of the largest castles in the Czech Republic, featuring Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque elements. Again, the grounds to the castle are free to roam, but to enter you need to buy a ticket costing 250 krona or £8. As I arrived at sunset, the castle had already closed, but the views in the grounds were stunning nonetheless. I also managed to get another delicious meal at that restaurant. On day 4, I visited Vranov na Dyjí Chateau, perched high above the Dyjí River. Built in the 11th century as a fortress, it was later transformed into a baroque residence. The interiors features stunning frescoes and period furniture. Entry costs 150 Czech koruna or £4.80. Next, I stopped at the St. Procopius Basilica in Třebíč, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Romanesque Gothic church was built in the 13th century and played a key role in the region's religious history. Entry cost 100 Czech koruna or about £3.20. On my way back to Prague, I visited the Konopiště Castle, the former home of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Yes, that same Archduke Franz Ferdinand who was assassinated in Serbia, igniting the fires of war in Europe and bringing rise to World War I. While the castle was closed for the season, its exterior and gardens are a must-see. With the start of day 5, I found myself back in Prague and had a few extra hours before my flight, so I explored more of Prague's unique attractions, such as the Communist Museum, the Sex Toys Museum, the Powder Tower, and relaxed on some trams riding through the city's neighbourhoods before departing. To break down my cost of travelling the Czech Republic, I spent a total of £510, including the cost of flights from London. Without my flights, the 5-day trip costed me £398, with £100 spent on accommodation, £61 on hire car costs, £68 on petrol, £20 on parking in various locations, £48 on museums, entry fees for castles, etc., and £101 on food. And that wraps up my Czech adventure. From medieval castles to vibrant cities, Czechia has so much to offer. I hope this video inspires you to visit and experience this incredible country for yourself. If you liked the video or want to see more, remember to give me a like and a comment below to keep supporting my channel. And if you'd like, also consider subscribing. If you have any questions or queries, I answer every comment. I will also be uploading shorts related to Czech Republic and delving more into details for individual sites if you're interested. Let me know in the comments if you are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.